So I work with a lot of horses that have had previous trauma, and they have a lot of apprehension and tension and anxiety because of that. So in this video, I want to share a session with Phoenix, a horse that definitely fits this description. When I met Phoenix, he was difficult to catch. He did not want me to put my hand near his head. When I would touch him on the hindquarters, he would scoot away. And his whole body was just rock hard and tense. And so I've had Phoenix for a few weeks now. We've been working on getting him to relax and soften through his body, and done a lot of very gentle work to help him, enjoy his time with people and learn to trust. So here I'm working with Phoenix off the line, which I feel is very important for horses like this, and I like to do this with all horses, but especially for a horse that has felt trapped and frozen. So working with him in this way shows him that he is free to move, that he is not restrained, that everything is his choice. And so here I am using a combination of touch and small movements, approaching, asking permission, using my hands on. Here I'm using a little tapping to ask Phoenix to step forward. We're just walking together in the circle here. So showing him that he can move and encouraging him to move away from that gentle tap, as opposed to bracing and freezing in his body. So allowing and creating movement. Each time I approach, I bring my hand up, I ask permission. So if he starts to move away, I'm going to acknowledge that and wait for him to give me permission. So here we're going to move a little bit in the other direction. So I feel like using rhythmic movement and allowing the horse to walk in a nice rhythmic movement is one way that we can help them to release and relax. Again, asking permission. So when I started with Phoenix, he was very apprehensive about having his legs lifted. His owners told me he had just, for the first time, had his feet trimmed without sedation. So we've been working on getting him to soften and relax and enjoy having his legs lifted. Here I'm just asking him to extend forward, to relax through his shoulder, to soften his leg to the ground. And between each thing that I do with Phoenix, I am backing up and creating a little bit of space. So I wait a moment, and then we're going to move to his hind end. And as I lift the back leg, I want to encourage him to lengthen the leg to the ground and soften. If he starts to pull it up, I'm just going to encourage him to extend it downwards and make sure I can give a little wiggle there so he stays soft through his hindquarters. I'm walking wide around his bubble to the other side. So I'm making my movements very obvious and clear so that, again, this is going to help him learn to trust. So there's no surprises. He knows exactly what's coming. He knows that I'm asking his permission. And he has learned that doing these things can actually be pleasant. Here I'm moving towards this other hind leg. I used my hand along his body to move into this space a little more gently, not so abruptly grabbing the leg. Here he's allowing me to lay my arm over his body, and I'm going to just lean into him, and here I'm giving a little gentle rocking. So rocking the horse is also a nice way to help them relax. Very small movements here though. And here as I move down his back, he tenses up. So instead of rocking the hindquarters, he braces to his back and moves his whole body away. So I'm going to just stay there and go a little softer and smaller in the movements. And here I'm also focusing on my breath, breathing deeply, staying grounded, and bringing my full awareness to Phoenix and what I'm feeling in his body. Again, creating some space around each thing, repeating this dance of asking permission over and over again. So when I started asking Phoenix to soften his neck was rock hard. He would tense up and resist and brace. So he's still pretty tight here. So I'm just staying in position with my hands on. I'm not forcing. If I forced him to bend, it would not accomplish any softening. I want Phoenix to soften into touch, so I'm waiting for him to find that release. And here, when I step back, he gets very distracted, so I'm moving him in the circle again to redirect his attention in a soft way and stop and inviting him to stop with me. And again, clearly walking around the bubble to the other side, asking permission to come to the side. And that's very good that he lets me bring my hand up to his ears. That used to be something that would cause him to tense up and move away. And again, he's taking just a minute here to find that release. So he's pulling away, embracing the neck. So I'm just following him and waiting for him to find that softness. So these lateral bends are going to help him then when we're riding to soften and bend to the rein as well. Now here we're going to practice the inside turn. As I walk around towards Phoenix's hind end, I want to see that he follows me in the circle. And then when I step back, he turns in. He's a little reluctant to let me on that side. We're going to move him away and an outside turn. And when I ask him to move away, he tenses and stiffens in his body. So his movements are a little jerky. We can work on making that a little softer. But again, I give a big release by stepping way back and then moving to the other side. Again, I'm bending him away and asking him to gently step across. When I feel the movement softens, then I give a huge release, completely letting go, so stepping back and observing. So here when I ask Phoenix to walk forward, he turns away, so I'm going to follow him in this direction. And then I'm going to walk around towards the tail to see if he'll stay with me and follow me with his left eye, which he does. And then we'll try this inside turn on the other side. Again, I'm stepping him away, following the hindquarters, and he continues to turn to the inside. So Phoenix is extremely willing. He really wants to do the right thing, but tension and anxiety in his mind and body was keeping him from being able to do that.